I'm ready to talk about my spiritual awakening, because I know when I started going through mine, I didn't have any guidance. I didn't have anybody to explain to me what was going on and what steps I needed to take. I had to figure it out all on my own. It was very difficult. And it started about 2018. After I had my second son, I went through severe depression. And for a while I was thinking it was postpartum depression. But when it lasted 6 years, I started figuring out that it was a little bit deeper than that. It was actually going through a dark night of the soul. And I didn't know what that was at that time. I wasn't awake yet. And I just thought it was really bad depression. And it was really difficult to get through. There were things that led up to that depression. I knew that my ex of 16 years was having an affair with my best friend of over 30 years. And knowing this was difficult to deal with, especially when I couldn't get either one of them to admit what was really going on. And every time that I tried to bring up a conversation to say, hey, like, I want to fix our relationship, I want to make this work, I would be gaslit pretty badly. And I was told that nothing was going on, that it was all in my head. Made me question my reality. Brought me down pretty bad. Made the depression even harder to fight through. You know something's going on and you're being told by everyone around you that that's not what's going on. But you just know. You know. It's hard when you start to question yourself. So I was getting through that. And I was almost out of my depression. But in November of 2023, I got really sick. Like, very sick. I had several surgeries. I was sick from that November to the following year of May 2024. In and out of the hospital. Literally on my deathbed. Multiple surgeries. And the first time I went into the doctor's office, the first time I went into the ER, my white blood cell count was so high that the nursing staff was shocked that I wasn't already in cardiac arrest. And the surgeon that came in said that if I'd shown up moments later, that I probably would have been. So the fact that I went into the ER when I did, it saved my life. So, also in that conversation, the surgeon sat down and he said that what I had was the unicorn of all abscesses. That he's only ever read about it in textbooks. He's never seen it. It was so rare that he asked me if he could have some medical students that were on site come in and see it for themselves, because they'll probably never have another opportunity to see it again. And, you know, being the kind-hearted person I was, you know, for educational purposes, I was like, sure, why not? So 17 med students rolled in, and what I had was a perianal abscess. Google it. It was very painful. It was a humiliating experience. And 17 med students rolling in to look at all of my glory. Yeah, sometimes. So I ended up having surgery the following morning. And I was very sick. I was sick for a long time. And I had to go back and get that surgery 5 more times before May. May was the fifth one. I'd had it once more since then, but what an experience that was. So after all that was happening in May, April, around that time, I was forced to surrender to God and ask for healing, for help, for guidance of what was going on around me. And I've already asked several times in my lifetime for help, and I prayed when I had nowhere else to go and no guidance. I know I'm not the only one that prays to a higher power for some kind of assistance to make it through the pain and suffering that you're going through. And he answered my prayer, and he started unlocking some spiritual abilities of mine. The only way that I could do this, though, is by raising my vibration. And I started figuring out how to meditate. So through meditation and prayer, I had asked him to reveal to me the people around me, and who was for me and who was against me, and all that kind of stuff, but also for healing. And I got exactly what I asked for. So for the past 10 years, my relationship was really rocky. I was being gaslit daily. And I had friends and family pointing out that said person was a narcissist. I had to look it up. I didn't even know what a narcissist was, which surprisingly I didn't know because I've been surrounded by those kind of energies my entire life. I just thought it was normal. That's how people were because I was always surrounded by it. You know, I mean, I guess when you know, you know. But back then I didn't. So I started learning about it and understanding a little bit more of what I was going through was actually happening, and understanding what gaslighting was and everything, and me having no filter. I started calling these energies out. You know, they don't like that. So they just try to convince you that you are the problem, that it's all in your head, and you're the crazy one. I mean, gaslighting by definition right there. So anyways, one of the conversations I was having, trying to save this relationship that I'd been in for 16 years and had 2 children with, I was begging for communication, for them to open up to me and to be honest about what was going on and how we could fix it. And I was told that, again, it was all in my head, that nothing was going on. So I started having a breakdown. It was bad. I was ready to check myself into somewhere. It was that bad. Because I was being convinced that my reality wasn't what was going on. It was difficult to go through. It was really hard for me to understand. So what happened is, in that moment where I was having that breakdown, I looked up and I saw the mask drop off. And his face morphed into something so evil, it scared the shit out of me. He had a huge smile of gratification, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that smile for the rest of my life. So evil. The following 2 days, something else started happening. I was able to start hearing voices from my spirit team. So, one night, I was sleeping and I was having extremely vivid dreams. I was absolutely horrified. The dreams that I was having were terrifying. I don't remember the exact details, but I know that I was being chased. And just really horrible things happening to me in that dream. But I woke up out of a dead sleep and I sat straight up and I was covered in sweat, and I heard loud as day in my right ear a voice that said, "You are sleeping next to the enemy." It was a male voice. Pretty sure it was my grandpa. He's been passed away for a few decades. Um, the person sleeping next to me was my ex. I started watching tarot readings pretty religiously after that because they were answering questions. I was receiving messages and answers for everything that I'd been asking for clarification for years. And I was getting answers and guidance. Finally, getting some kind of guidance. Not too long after, I decided that what was best for me to save myself and my mental health was that I needed to leave the situation. That what I was around was no longer serving me. And the only way to heal and grow and get better was to leave. So I packed my stuff, brought my kids with me because I knew they were suffering as well. I mean, they weren't getting abused as badly as I was. I was definitely getting the brunt of it. But they were showing similar symptoms that I was. So I wanted to protect them. We ended up leaving and I came to my parents' house. I was meditating daily. I was really getting in touch with my spiritual side. I was starting to pray a lot more. Just trying to raise my vibration daily, doing what I can. A lot of things happened last summer. My mental stability was lied about, and my children were taken away. So on top of everything else that was happening, I lost my kids, and it's not the first time that's happened to me. So going through it again was another cycle that I had to overcome. When you start realizing that life happens in patterns and cycles, you have to learn how to heal and break those cycles. So I definitely kicked off on a healing journey at that point. I was at the beach daily, um, cleansing in the water and meditating and praying, listening to music, watching tarot readings, which I still do because I get a lot of answers that way and a lot of guidance. Back to my unicorn of all abscesses. Um, what I know now, the fact that that was so rare and unheard of is because it was caused by black magic that was put upon me. And that wasn't revealed to me until months down the road after I had left the situation. I figured that out through meditation, and answers were given to me. And then I started learning about the practices of black magic, voodoo, hoodoo, all of that stuff. It only has power over you if you're in a low vibration. That kind of stuff doesn't work on me anymore. It only works if you're in a low vibration. So, I mean, it's not easy going through this kind of growth and healing and walking down this path. It's probably the most challenging, difficult thing that I've ever been through in my life, and that's saying a lot because I've been through a lot. I'm definitely one of those people that have been through the most. Everything. Uh, every challenge that you could think of. And, I'm still here. I still see a really good future for myself. Um, and what I see is I'm one of the people that's supposed to help guide people through this journey, through this path to help you understand that what you're going through, there is a reason for everything. I don't regret anything that I've been through. And I've mentioned this before. I don't regret it. I appreciate and understand everything that I went through and the people that I came in contact with because it gave me strength and resilience. And, overcoming some of these challenges, it changes you. It makes you a better person. If you raise your vibration, it makes you a better person. If you stay in a low vibrational state, you can turn into what you went through, which is not good. You have to choose to heal and grow and overcome everything and understand that there is a higher power that can help you if you just open up to it and surrender. And when you're so low, like I said before, you may not have a choice other than to do that. So things happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. There's no coincidences. I don't believe in that. Not anymore. Everything happens for a reason. And people come into your life for a reason. Whether that's good or bad. All of it's for you, it's good. Because if you can learn from these experiences, people, places, and things, you can change your life. And you'll be able to wake up to what reality really is. And going through a spiritual awakening is mind blowing. It's unreal. It's like something you think that it's something out of a movie, but it's all real. And you're not the only one going through it. So I've met through social media. I've met thousands of people that are further along in the spiritual journey than I am, and some that are just going through it. So you're not alone. You're never alone. Especially when you start having faith in your spirit team and the Most High. You know you're never alone. You got this. Uh, Around the end of the summer, I ended up in a homeless shelter. And it was really difficult to accept that. I really felt like it was like the lowest I'd ever been. But when I realized that I was where I was meant to be, my whole perspective on it changed. It was actually the best living situation I've ever been in. I had more support there than I've ever had in my life. People truly cared. And I wasn't the only one going through a spiritual awakening or had gone through. Like, there were more experienced spiritualists around me that were further into the process than I was. So I got a lot of guidance and I had a lot of direction, which really helped me a lot. Um, I met this really amazing couple that came there for energy work and massage therapy and all that kind of stuff. And one of them was a spiritualist. He'd been probably 35 years experience plus. Amazing couple. They taught me a lot. They taught me energy work. They helped me get certified with spirituality and mindfulness, um, meditation, all that kind of stuff. So I'm certified in all of it. In September, I was diagnosed with CPTSD from the abuse that I was put through. So knowing that and everything that I'd gone through and all of the gifts and everything that I've unlocked since I've started raising my vibration with exercise, meditation, music, everything, like it just a healthier life. I sobered up. I was no longer smoking, or doing anything low vibrational at that point. Still sober, doing the best that I can, every day. So living in that shelter, a whole bunch of things started happening to me though. I got certified in a few fields for what I've been working on. So that was the beginning of blessings that started happening for me. Another thing was I haven't had my driver's license since 2008. It was a control factor to keep me from going where I wanted. So that was always controlled of, when and where, who I was with. So I wasn't allowed to get a driver's license or have my own car. So I got my driver's license. That was like an extreme blessing. And I made a TikTok that day that happened. It was amazing. And that was a TikTok where I was surrounded by thousands of pelicans. I may have exaggerated. It was probably a few hundred. But, I mean, who sees that many pelicans? It was out of control. It was really cool. So I got my driver's license, and shortly after I got a car. And I am no longer living in the homeless shelter. I am in a house, and I'm doing pretty well for myself. I'm proud of myself. It's been a long journey, and it's been really rough, but I stuck to it. So while I was living in the shelter before I moved out, I was going through a custody divorce hearing, and I couldn't afford an attorney, so I represented myself the whole time. The diagnosis of CPTSD was not able to be admitted in court because I didn't have the doctor present in court as a witness to verify the diagnosis. So that's a temporary situation for right now until I can afford an attorney. Anyways, but everything works out for a reason. And as much as I miss my children, and I do get visitation with them now, but as much as I miss them, the time off has really helped me with the time that I've needed to grow and heal, and with meditation and everything. Like, I could not do that if I had both of my children with me all the time. So that was a blessing as well. And being able to understand that is a huge step in my growth. I miss them, but I'm grateful for this time because I'm able to learn who I am. And who I am is something way more than I ever thought I was. So if you're going through anything similar to this, just know that you're not alone. And I'm here to talk if you need me.